ya teacher man we to constituency
Yeah.
constituency dia na BCD ewo hobi nti so kwakwa na chese ya bon the top say wa nanje Ghana nyina na waka kire obi a about 100 days no woman watching aye and then the then the so say oba be so kura woman say so watching aye so to me ye obi e ntimi nya no hwe na mom aye tradition and na say bibi a wo ho amamre more or less bi le na ke ye bi amamre akwaya amamre wo ho a ye sha say ye to aba 1992 no ye sua America for the ye de ejuma na sani America no the obeka bia no bia nsa no hwe e na wan kwanso anko bia e misa ne say dey na wan kọ because any bremu no di na ko gina court ya sama ya attorney general ta ko president be gina court mo be kasa da ya tradition na sani a okay ya tradition no da aka ho and na wo ifofobia ni suade hunu wope wo ko wudru wa parliament expectation saade no be ka mo asem titru aka wunti na nkrofo to aba ede maawo aka wunti ne yenya gidie ewo wo mu ebi ni sadan mene wo ya hu program per start 24-hour economy President Mahama entimi ko gina parliament ne non kasa obetume yi afiri kwan ya ofa so a say ya to abayi wo be bosomu mienu na kwame yensen say 24-hour economy no wo start in the ben another ben na wo start wo start over start na wo start in the ben dia na wo yi anu say dese ya ehe na wo dia kwa kodi Ghana ni bia nso mi say yi lebi ya de a ya ni nyewu ni ya no emi say esikafo pa no sikani bia no wo time so kwa akoye okọ register momo no no akogina baby so send wo bi momo esikafo wo kwan o fa so send wo nsika eti yi lebi dia ye hiafo ye send ye ma me no me ye ma wo school sika ne ade ye na high and pa kese about 80% of the people of Ghana any yi lebi ye expect say ya papa be kan ho asem enne afani ya kwaso mi ensa me no mienu ya ball kufa de chipa wo ho pa wo mete wa no kasa bebre ntimi say da wa no wo ba beka ebi ni COVID-19 tax na Ghana for etua no the patro hwedi da so se COVID-19 na 2029 yare ena ya wo year plan 2025 na kufa do agye ho to sa o ne ni finance minister no ebesi de nti Mahama no wo to so anase wo yi de afiri ho but just amen kasa nkwachira san wo makakira we any import duty omo import no ma amagana uyi ade wo temana takwade aye very unpalatable ajasanya de kura minimi say the papa to me kashe kura we die want to me amoso agana for bube food ana minimi say obeka bibi so de abo no hosa for hini ebi ni sa oral de buy ya report more than 2000 abeg minimi say obeka hu bibi say omukusu hihye na mbere sa ne yebewu se cases bebre daba court the other baba no hosa for hini bi mpa no any set go buy ya no week no aye yi ni no sha so yi ni to business so abere bi dey to me 2 months kura ni ye we dey that week now say eventually the baba no hosa for hini say unlike the previous situation MPP me NDC you scratch my back and scratch your back in that year papa we buy ya no a all finance minister ya shishano aba bekisha de no mamu nti we kira say we jai anyankoye a woni MPP wo a wo ye adwuma de ati nanim amadabi ya ka president bi okoye na wasan ebe biemu a ne yatuma nya bibi de account so buy no megu ne ho animu ase the part of me Jesus answer bi papa obeka de abo no ho
all right lawyer answer na memo akro no over the years but aya etai so na nachi no yatimi achieve ana
the pacho but aya eta achire over the years no mesro yantimi achieve o my we mu de yantimi achieve anunti ana tade abi insakraye eban
okay
ko ba bi tisa Britain aban ba kutumu win election be 6 times Margaret Thatcher, we need, I think so. We need that for that. It's true, baby. No one, and no, John Major by John Major by and Sana. I look for we need one. and stand the mobile.
Yeah. Too bad. Lawyer, you are not sure from Power Homano, sign at you, but you didn't know ABC because I say what me touch on all the issues are not your person, you can't ask them. It's your next one, I know me sure say, Yami Adama also expect to be comment session, my CTV GH, on so bet to me, Edward Junshana said, you will expect it, Eddie at where back in kind, Eddie Amao, come pa. Ivan Kyei innocent at not say dada. Na ye hwe ni mobile list so and am kwan so bench obedru hasisia na ye be hye ye nkomo na se because en nkomo no edoso eti e wose ye hwe se ye betimi attack ni nyina star 413 hash option 4 star 413 hash option 4 cash flow and pay you know say wodo number ebeto system no eso na won so watimi atwa bi kama pa na che se wo betimi anya 1500 cedis e wo phone eso ye chiche bonus a won so won sa betimi aka bi wo 20 cedis and 30 cedis 50 Ghana na person di twa nya sika ho adaje da bia me ka kireo entwambom baako twa ne baako se be ya wo number no wo be ne te se sapete no wapeti atum na se enya ena ye kro no innocent it's saying yeah then nyame ase weekend ye koyie said there be am catch us say me no be hia ne e di weekend
na wie
yeah na me ko bisa last weekend e koyie de
oh nyame adom kakrakra
then nyame ase the nyamiase pa no peso ye da se iliso ono de woni time so ono ye nim dada so woni ni time so innocent nkwa no ye time conscious o di ni time so kama na me say na chi o baba no maburagu ho okay but answer ne be share nkoma na se na so na what expectations so far?
Oh, I think that me narrow down to me alone. People will be disappointed.
Yeah.
I think that the expectations of Ghanaians,
also.
Yeah, because so we had the last 8 years.
Yeah.
Baby a Ghana kwana nam, and near my Ghana who, and the Ghana kum, the economy, education, employment. Just every facet of our Ghanaian society has suffered some level of your friends saying degradation, including even forest, water bodies, everything in this country in the last 8 years has suffered to a certain level. So this whole new government coming in place, offer a certain renewed sense of hope to the average and the ordinary Ghanaian, hoping say something new is going to happen.
Okay.
So and so now is an opportunity for President Mahama, first of all, to chronicle baby a ye free ba. Because you say wouldn't baby a free ba, you will not know where you're going. Yes, it is important say over culture Ghana for where we want to go, but it's also good say be remind you where we are coming from. Say be in our way forward, ever guiding on our next steps. Na yenko slip into what happened in the past. And in terms of the economy, the Ghana phobia, Ghana ni be a relief in terms of doing businesses and as for one major thing has to do with this. Your friend is saying taxes are now lawyer I can't want Ghana near or Wabonsia Cobra, what me a to address or the buffet. Taxes are just so good so at the port, no? Not car no own to me, the urban say are buying for. Wow, car cobra when you were bound to obey a man girlfriend will keep maybe a crowd to Yakra. So some of these taxes are a good pot, no? I see about more near yin, because taxes in the dancer in Ghana and Kwana COVID-19 buyer. I man for edge. Your friend say unemployment benefit for the COVID. No, we were paying taxes, COVID taxes, and several other way. Impose a lot of economic burden on the average Ghanaian. So I am just looking, say, some of the taxes that President Mahama also promised. So obey free or like the COVID, like the betting and other way, or offer a certain economic ground to be for the average Ghanaian. Sabaya that pressure, no, obey free. One major thing. A bone of contention. And personally, I was on radio, TV, everywhere, speaking against it. Your friend is saying the e-levy. The e-levy, tax as a binyansa be taxes, we have tax regime everywhere. What you do, me say, you stifle economic growth. And I say economic transaction are cost to businesses. So the profit that people get, that is what you target. But if we get to a point that where government begin to tax amount for principal, because I mean Sandisika will be a business.
Exactly.
And your profit, your friends oriented enterprise, we are over the tax free. But then Sikano da bank account now they buy momo so I better we free momo so I better. So some of these things Emma this cashless society na person ye no ebetimi akosoro. I think that taxes are one major thing President Mahama will have to look at it na ohu hawa you bet me relieve the burden because I believe that see me widen the tax net to cover larger areas. We will be able to get a lot of revenue and some of the informal sector businesses and transactions they don't go through any system. So we should be able to formalize all these transactions, the business activities, they go through a certain proper channel. Among for government manage taxes. And then a major challenge is rent. Yeah. Every single person in this country. Yes. Rent, this is what happens. Last year, I'm behind them. I catch us 500 Ghana cedis a month. I feel now ya 500 near 2 to 800 without no indication, nothing, and nipa not in the discretion and but I'm saying some of these sectors and regulated with any formal process nipa na just carry now or no or body team na wato just kind of good bottom. But I think that if we are able to look at a system, I bet making sure because I don't believe that even house owners across should be giving houses out to people. There should be a system or be able to register a dime, making sure that Ghana need pet dime. You don't deal with a house agent and as a owner. No, now a system. Bet me go through. I bet me regulating prices and quite effort so 6 months, 1 year. Now yet me yes I near way a lot of relief say rent yet me the marane ya aduma now the more the highest I bet me just 6 months. I trust me a lot of people will survive in this country and I'm said those in Yamanu ni hunti no obia da sore na yam kana na ototo dan mu saa basa saa and now Accra open dan han 1 year wunya bi and obia wa ba Accra by national service 1 year or ko han dan yes 2 years now oya 1 year ni we are 1 year na aka na betra man say na papa na betenam. There should be a system that should regulate some of these things. Not easy governance. No, inshallah, nya adie hu biya. Sa near petty way ya. Uhunu sa say enya way no. If we are able to do some of these things, rent issue kwa wa cry resolve. Trust me, a lot of young people will be able to put your friends saying life together because what bra when you sika na ko hand down. Just obetimi for about 15,000 Ghana cedis. I ko hand down. Wa ko kwa na yempenti. There would be gum and send a juma na over na what all that government has to do is to implement existing laws just to ensure say a man will go through proper channel. So I think it's one area social way we need to look at. Now then COVID. Ehon sensem said na papa is kan ehon near corruption other related way meaning say a lot of activities in as for them. We need to know the next line of action because we've seen that afraid way I'm sure the government is really committed considering how they are going about it, but I think that assurance must also come. Ghana for because there are a lot of people who still don't believe that this whole thing is real. You understand? So I think President Mahama will have to reaffirm his commitment to the fight against corruption and making sure that individuals are more far they don't go scot free because Yamakacha said Yatikroma at the end of the year, Sike kwa man for bottom, as we change Sike kwa man ho. And we cannot continue to live in a country that particular thing will happen. So we need to be very frontal and very aggressive in our quest to fight corruption and so forth. So I think it's one major thing that will have to be considered. And again, job opportunities for young people and so forth. Like I just say, in anywhere in the world, that young people, any Juma pursue national security threats to our very existence, our coercion and everything. So government will have to make sure say some of these things will come to stream. Because maybe the best way free unemployment team as this 24-hour economy President Mahama can if we are able to go the industrial way, setting up some of these enterprises overnight. I bet me employ a man for and then also I'll reduce this pressure of going out there to import nema abakroma rice and nema bi a import crowd say we embesho na ye nam ha young people are just gallivanting on the street of Accra and Ghana o munni adwuma ye when some of these yetimi yes nema we nyina amanfo benya adwuma ye day and night asika ye kwa abonten ekwa kramo for instance Ghana timifa over there 250 million na come Thailand say they kramo. When majority of young people are descending from the north, land the war, abetena kumase ebe kaya ye. Na ba umia culture say obesi. Your friends hostels are more no kaya ye sa. When these people you bet to invest to ensure say this large scale farming, rice farming somewhere no. Yeah. Bet me akoso amam for nya I see say Ghana has a lot of potentials. Okay. Both natural, your friends say human, everything. All that we have to do, ni say you bet me you bet me a position of mine. So President Mahama will have to speak to Ghanaians and also assure them because the last leg Ghana democracy, so this Mahama government because of the experiences Ghana have in the past. There are a lot of people who don't even believe or have faith in democracy anymore. You understand? So this is an opportunity to assure Ghanaians and reaffirm that commitment. So going forward, institutions of state will run to their fullest way. And they are string controlling state institutions. They are working at the behest of certain individuals in power, but not in the interest of these people, Ghanaians. Ghana for once again have hope and believe in the state institutions. Not Ghana for the support of the campaign because you can work alone. Yeah. You need to enlist the collective support of the people to be able to achieve whatever that you do because all that you are doing is to provide direction. The workforce is the people. Once they have trust and believe in the system, they say the system will work out. Trust me, things will work out. But never be a cause for parliament. I found your marking in the vetting. Yeah, we're talking about trust in the state institutions. So we have Nema Brante with appointment committee anymore. Oh yeah. Then you begin to wonder, say, you're quite anyone. I say, this serious, your friend is saying, committee ayate. Their job is to interrogate and find out, say, yeah, I am minister. Ajumano, do you have the capacity of it? Me, and answer on to me. Your phone now will knowledge your what is saying. Nipana, but I feel ever catch and say, on Messa Baja. And I messa your friends about our parliament. Yeah, I will be here. When you reduce some of these serious businesses to some of these things, people will not attach any seriousness to it. And I like the reaction from the chairman. The chairman. But you see, MPP as a political party should also be very, very, very careful. The man said the fact that we lose political power and doesn't mean hey you are descending into abyss forever. You need to build hope. And in building hope, this silly approach is not the way to go about it. You understand? This arrogance, this belligerence, or that kind of silly way, I'm not sure say is the way to go. You don't sit in parliament and use such an honorable institution to be favoring personal agenda in this particular manner. That was the comment people were making about this, what happened yesterday in Parliament. Among for expecting, saying we have ushered ourselves into a new phase. Yeah. The new phase, with a renewed hope, with a renewed sense of responsibility. Among for expecting that politicians will live up to that particular billing. Because we said new narrative. The narrative should include doing things differently. But these people go there and the way they behave so amateurish and so infantile to the extent that sometimes you begin to wonder, say, stage now where you hope is a are they really there? You ask people to go to parliament and dance bobo. Abra will be out to another other dances. Now, parliament will be a new order. So I think that we need to get serious. So now there are things that we are hoping say I think the president ever made the address. And we are hoping say he will be able to assure Ghanaians because among for with this new government the hope na shall say but the old no and I bet what the future will be. So I'm expecting say on rising up to the occasion and the many promises also I'll make here in the manifesto and the assurances that he gave to the people of this country. In terms of Galamsey, I've seen a lot of your friends say we are go around the minister and Ashanti regional minister the minister at the sector no yes engaging people we need to do a lot just to ensure say some of this environmental degradation through amount for greed for more yes way you know you stop it will depend on the decisive action by government just to ensure that these areas are red zones, they are red areas. You don't just step in, because if you do, there will be consequences. Now state no moment MA sponsor all motivating and incentivizing people to go into ventures end up destroying our own life in as a forum. That is the kind of assurance and the commitment Ghanaians are expecting. So 10 o'clock it will start. I think that the expectations are quite high. So you're back. Now whatever that the womb the no ya san ba kan kire Ghana for but the mission say ye betimi aye a renew amount for hope na amount for abamumu ko bebre titifia because of the Akufo Addo in the last 8 years omo abamabu. We need to rebuild that particular hope, inspire confidence and ensure that Ghana new once again rise to the occasion and believe that their government is up to the task. The government is committed to doing things that will benefit them. The government is not there to satisfy individual greed. Then I say for Namum, work to the satisfaction of the people of this country. And trust me, this country will get better. That's around the power Kroma, Oko Airport. Young people are move through Kroma and not the Ketwa. Yes, because there is this veil of hopelessness and desperation. One year school, we near Jumaya. A friend of mine, even in the real master's program now, a friend also could Dubai. Oh yes. Because
masters in Dubai,
so you cannot blame him. The opportunities and those there is absolutely nothing here. You understand? So I think that this is something that we need to work on to rebuild hope. Sabi Amanfo who say in our own country I can live here and survive. He has been here all along. Ajuma kwa kwa Paris. Sika betu ya kano. Ubeko bibe you ya 1,000 Ghana cedis. You betu ubika 1,500 Ghana cedis. Now what's a cra and I said such sikan editor but survival. So we need to just to ensure that we stimulate private sector growth. Sabe ya mama fa amam for adwuma mu no so no, they will find a way to earn decent living. Because sometimes when amam for kasa now her salaries amam for any our chrome hire. We have because system be who are check some of these things. Exactly. You understand? So we need to restructure the system in such a way. And a lot of them are coso. And the Abasana Nipania just a comedy is Nabosome or converted to Ghana, Sikam no Benya 5,000, 6,000, and they will go. But the horrible ordeals these people get exposed to out there. There are no ladies or Moko or Mama Beam. They been go Okona Ghana near San Suni Omo, man, not Abrosan, so now will keep Abrosan. Oba, all because of this is a modern day slavery people are being subjected to because they have everything, natural resources, gold, diamond, but few people are utilizing it to their benefit. As a son of man and a man for resources are meant to benefit them, no? They are suffering. Go to Obuasi the last time we spoke about it. If you would do Obuasi, you see hopelessness, you see desperation, you see diseases because of the toxic environment that you're creating. But no, the core beneficiaries, I him for more cat. And then for and your friends say company no even social corporate social responsibility that must be rendered to the people anyhow or land now where they taking away from you. So living there now your life is in danger. You understand? Is this the reason why recent times see young people mining areas sometimes you cannot blame them because first but then because of the information is available, they've been able to identify. Said no, they have a stake in that resources, and they must claim it. Exactly. Across South Africa, some of these things has been happening. So this is the time for us to also look at our mineral regime, just to ensure, say, yebenya a good cut from Yankasa natural resources. Now you ask your natural resources. You say you have between 5%, between gold, royalty. The nipa the senate yes, I say oh dear go, you go the yeah, the about 90% come out for some too, but then nimdia bar to a pointer. When your natural resources now won't mean to you just high services of individual with the capacity of meeting who we are, you pay them, you own it. That is what countries are doing. Say gold na when you want you don't have. Employ people, pay them, let them extract the gold. You pay them, you own it. That is what everybody is doing. But now we your friend is saying lithium. You saw what happened. Yeah, they are and your friend's a percentage. And the resources go away. These people, capital flight, they export everything out of this country. So I know the day, you know, you could parliament with GDP, but on mine no children. Other critical indicators and the countries they use as to whether their people are doing well or not. This human development index and so forth. People don't even talk about it. But and on the capture the real life of every single individual, or lifespan, literacy, and a whole lot of personal development and so forth. But some of these things are your priority because government now set it up was factor human welfare, factor human development, factor individual progress. Now, avenue for few people to become rich, and that is all that leadership power is about. This is the time for us to change that narrative, and I expect President Mahama to leave that particular course and ensure, say, Ghana for he will come with a renewed hope at Ghana for. Benya said now no and near Master.
All right. Issues be trade will crum before I ever call strike actions the last time closer to 4 days when I mean so much as you grandpa. Now President Mahama from show manai. Hey, go for a bounty page you what I say? *413# option 4 no air cash flow. Enche ye koye nim kakra meba be che wusika enti mesrew bo homoden so do number beto ye system no eso *413# option 4 *413# option 4 na what the number add to your system no eso unya 5 Ghana cedis na what me dia to so number no e draw so mu a na e ma guarantee say automatically betimi awini big enti na che say e ho asem enonom ba me sure say from weekend na besi sabre ya te say me dey so can be and because and I be na na create confusion be and I start inviting crowd for sky train home sem but say na no yesi jogati koye and na professor me konfu koye and na abronya de ni nsem hu no kokekan and ma wo mo inviting no ti yan say so far so good keka invitation na ekoso no ebomu a ma ye hope bi.
Oh yes, I think so, and I like the approach. Gidi say yakwa so be na to come here because Professor I'm told he was invited.
Yes,
and then he went there with his lawyers. And that should be the formal way. Yakobo be them yakwachewa na jo na they chichiri wani no sa na money belong to antiquity. Modern times here you mean se nipa no afoma. Just go through due process and make sure you deal with the person. And that's how we cracked in China. The reason why the last time I was talking about how a Kenofurata home was raided without due process and so forth. You shift the attention and the focus to some incident, you know, but people lose focus on Neman and any panaya. Then you buy sympathy for the person.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Yes. So I think that this time around the approach is good because my culture say we cannot live in a country where people mess up and get away. Because some of the big people involved in some of these scandals, they had classmates, and their classmates could have decided, say, we will not be politicians. I'll go to the field of medicine, or be a nurse, or be a say. But the mere fact that you chose politics doesn't mean that you are better than that person. But because we have, your friend saying, the way I say politics, you know, I say, we know politics, we are billionaire. At all costs, you must make money. And whatever means possible. See your mind, see a boy mind come see a new. So I bet an easy way of making money. So you see that now everybody want to join the political bandwagon. Because that is the sure bet. This time I'll become rich. Because the system is gaping. There is no sense of responsibility. There is nobody in charge. No oversight responsibility. State institutions are weak. And they do whatever that they want to do. They get away with it. This is the time for us to look at the narrative and send signals to people. Say, governance, leadership, politics in this country going forward, it's no longer business as usual. That there is a conventional red lines that has been established. Our government is so determined. Say, if you go beyond this limit, now don't support or mind sikama. there will be consequences for you. That is the only way we can deal with some of these things. But my culture says in our individual nature, even a hakra yeti, obia in their free will will be evil and commit atrocities. But some menu who said there are consequences for our actions. We are not doing home, you know. But omana yeti now say we are there. Consequences be anyhow. People become rich overnight buying properties, and there is no system in place to check lifestyle. People owning chains of buildings and so forth. How they got the money? Because in other jurisdictions, America and other places, among for you rich, you know, they are there is a paper trail you can find out and identify where the person earned a single cent. As tax and so forth. Ghana and Kwan will be popping up all of a sudden. Now only build chains of buildings. Where they got that money from, nobody knows. I think that media for us as here from chairman. No. Chairman. Then yes. So I think that is the problem. We must begin to change things in such a way say other countries are doing. If you go to a place like China, that is what we need to do in this country. But you see, we've got to a point state institutions and the avenues and they motivate a man for to engage in some of these things. You their course or Yoko. You who their course of special prosecutor and as a forum individuals now investigating ended up to be heroes. Then the state institutions ended up being demonized. You who their toe, your first even Kiseja, Martina Midu, and several other way. I think here, the last time I catch us as our person fighting corruption, and you must set up office of the special prosecutor, and you must set up this. What you need is political commitment. Me presidency way, me the atola and also just to ensure say I may deal with issues of corruption. But adia ba ko a edi enya okroma issues of corruption. And sa sikana ye yisu a yemfa nyansa nto ho aban sika ntino they can just invest it in any venture. For instance, Sky Trade.
$2 million.
$2 million. Company na oye nka obeye sa de no krom ha ko nyensi ha. Any assessment, any feasibility study, but nipa da seni tenase at the comfort of their destiny. Sika way we can find the paper trail, and you realize that the Sikano Anko company be
that was under the watch of his Joe Gatti, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, Joe Gatti.
Exactly. Now, train the name from no crown near Coco season. You see, sometimes I can't say, Nyansa a tira a general who train the name from no crown. You were saying any other generous road. And at a cabinet meeting now with reasonable people and somebody raised this particular point, automatically you tell the person that this is absolute nonsense because there was a train me and Yara for train be ultima dead as a form and we are not able to deal with it. You're talking about Sky Train and you paid $2 million. I got to Akwasa agrobi we nipa ni so, and this is a maya $100 month for to the stand say yetia na no Donald Trump cancel USAID no. How people are serving.
Yes.
Because the money comes in and we are foolishly throwing it out. Sika no months out of formo. So he making sure that Sika no so dey trane and the day has come, the reality has dawned on us. So I think that we must begin to do some of these things and implement some of these harsh policies. Wherever we ever find a honor, who say business as usual. So the special prosecutors, a Yoko, a BNIO, we are not expecting Saturday we be dress rehearsal. As usual, for those populists, we invite, we nothing comes out of it. Ghana for want a concrete action plan regarding all these cases, because corruption of course so under Kufuor I am not answer discuss here. And then you see you'll be from your friend is saying I think La Paz side oh baby. This new meter is here about more air force to the man for you. Yeah. Omo ko bo mo nyina wo sa part ni nyina almost for the past 1 week ni omo light doom.
And I said been a me experience.
Yes.
Because you say a new meter.
Exactly. Who from obi amfi?
The last time I low currents.
Good.
Air conditioner and
that is the same. Exactly.
Bob needs to so but yet to me for light and exactly. And I was like, what is happening? I feel off craft.
When you new meters in the the same thing almost over. But I know somebody procured and say wow. Yeah, because we cause financial loss to the state, you know.
By force.
Meters now, Enyan say, you know, move to 2 air, but for I think that quickly government need to move in because every single person here when you new meter is going through these low current challenges. And I am telling you, that La Paz, people have been calling, complaining for the past bare 1 week in here. Light in this is so Bob no say yes, and these people are still in town or move to 2 amount 4 meters, still airborne new meter because somebody went to buy those meters and I say you're born by force. My make sure says Sikano, your friends, and also baby. These are we cannot use state institutions to do some of these things. Challenges now man for no or from because people have been calling ECG for the past 1 week, 2 weeks in here. The whole community there is no light because of these new meters. And the part of most suffer when new meters no more and nobody is going to their aid. And the what me out of credit? Light, but who need light. And there is nobody who complaining.
Because I was thinking Monday, yes. Monday no area I pon we dwuma ye kofie. And yes, we light no asa. Ademo light ni yentimi fa nya de papa dia. And ye to 100 cities Monday because me say oh, me na me pese me hwe say. Wo to 100 cities a ebedi nase. Yes. See ye to 100 cities Monday. And Wednesday. Nasa.
Yes. Yes.
So I was surprised and I'm like, it doesn't mean say every 24 hours biano you be consuming 100 cities.
Exactly. And that is the challenge. And as some ways, who be a phone line too much. You see number of people may complain about this new meters and as a phone or mobile. And the challenges, this low current issue. Won't be fun charge you phone cry. This is a major challenge. So the question is, your friend saying, near my bed no more, due diligence burn on we before doing some of this because what I know is never be to say crap.
Yeah, damn thing for there be smart if I remote to kitwa bi na away. Sa remote to kitwa we. Sa meter we no.
Yes.
And no be near you so.
Yes.
Light na ba na efa mo we bi.
Good.
We.
Yes.
I have also air condition and fridge and so. Yes. And you
are not the only person going through this. I'm telling you, Nipa my friend bro 10 echo 20. Hey. At the same challenge that we go through. And you see, your machines is not for problem, baba. But how you respond to the challenges and address them it's a major thing. Oh, from we tell you could be and these are the challenges people are going through. In this state, that is meant to be solving problems, it's creating problems because somebody is forcing a particular way, from a number of reasons I can't or because of this, but the thing is causing problem for a man for, and that is the side we are looking at. I am not looking at say a civil cost or whatever. I'm looking at the challenges people are going through. They may have their reasons for bringing some of these things, but it must not affect a man for
exactly
what you feel na uda sumu why nyama light off na for and nobody is doing anything about it. I think we need to look at some of these things. Now making sure that state institutions will be effective, they will be candid and do things in a manner sabi a man for a humbertomo na yemma me yes me ya kwaje me cat because my crab meters aban be ko sa meter wo mo kraba because aban no ba be ko asi akra ntem na de be kra no jeje no ho na ma wie na yeja gum na yeja no hoko. So the interest of the state no Ivan, because the thing is supposed to serve a purpose. The thing is creating problem for people. And nobody is as somewhere because the widespread complaint now, but you expect by now officially there have been a statement out there clarifying why some of these challenges are happening and an assurance say you will deal with the situation. What's the Obia Kanwa? Nobody has spoken about it because they don't care, they don't respect us. And this narrative, new narrative, must not include some of these practices. And I think they're going forward, we need to look at some of these things. Now, buying finance form, now you feel across every sector. Just to ensure that the due diligence and due process will be followed everywhere. Sabe ya man for use in the name of mewaha. Na yemfa be personal business. I know the day na Ghana for there so far. So yeah, the fight against corruption include all these things.
Serious and
yes, yeah, wide.
But in fact, well, as someone okay, because government yes.
Yeah, and call a pass a whole community, ne kwashe my side or the whole for the past 1 week. Omuni light. Light na ebeba but won't even find charge phone. Yes. And all these people going through these new meters I install for a month for. Oh, how can you do this? This is a crowd. You can't do this. They disrespect you so much. So I think government will have to move in and whatever they need to check some of these meters and ensure that they are indeed your friend is saying a several purpose of Ghanaians and son of the Bayer don't Bayer or the
same problem no more a creative ma a career was so many aside or money.
Yes, Muntia
bill, yes, a bimukras what did them, yes, a terrible, yes, because they meter politically a moment young cobo, your boy and your fan to ECG system. So, until over the years, now, Muntia bill. And all of a sudden, boom, near Comani Pabaco bill bears a 200 million. Over Quadani Pano cry, dear Noye. She was both to so I had there, or no better than 200 million.
Yeah, and I know, and I'm your my you see, the procurement regime now, Kasa, in some of these state entities and enterprises, you know, we need to look at it again.
Exactly.
Say ECG source or kotomita new one about. What are some of the processes, the procedures, the near form just to ensure that the model banner valid and your individual be now China where be a side be near media boom and or the Bragana. It is about how I ebenya na yenya cut free home. I don't know whether some of these things go through due processing as for and due processing na go through no kwa no. Nipa no moto ni na politically exposed individuals. So at the end of the day they just sign go bring it. At the end of the day, you know, the state will suffer. And some of these procurement breaches in as for go through almost every single state institution in this country. Time has come for us. So I say, you see, governance and daily no solve problems. And some of these daily occurrences, you know, and as I inform you what to do. At the end of bar, you move in, you solve. A bar, you move in, you solve. Ghana and Kwan is the only place problem will come today. We wake up the next day to discuss the same problem. Next year, we come back to... The last time I was talking to you about the Auditor General report. Why will people sit at the agency and as an institution? No, what background for 1 year? There is no internal mechanism to ensure that some of these things, we stop it. Now you are sending in a book about the Auditor General report. No media the 1 week I discuss it ends there. We wait for another episode to come. We are not a reasonable people. Report no kind the man would when you went how the General report no won't even for 2 years to crank yes. Me I told them to miss him some kanya so and at the end of the day no nothing comes out of it. And in the panel more your friends say agency institution level no only say no nothing will come out of it. So they will continue. Now what besides say why will somebody sit at National Service Secretariat now what cookie ghost names for 7 to 8 good years? Auditor your friends say I control and accountant general department besides say due diligence ben and send you to your for processes ben you go through. Do we verify accountants no more this institution, you know? How are they able to check say individual this money or your nipa work grant or your juma na account number no? You see, we don't do some of these things. Parliament, I had the list na command and say do oversight responsibility, no. Were they able to cross check? So let's as against people on the ground, no. Does it tally? You see, Obia, you know, mine who Obia se baby obenya bibiadi. And I think that is something that President Mahama must be committed to changing. Okay. Because you change ya. Now, my catches are what to be saying, Yankopon Bay Ghana Bay, ya oh, bottom, Yankopon Yadagio. Yamin to show mine anywhere. A young Kasa and you better show mine. Young son, I want in media mind, the rest is up to us. See, the boy and one bro, the bedo. Now, say Yamibo, we have how many years in here? Over 10 million years a come. You be Yankee, your mentality and a quiet for so I join a brony person in Kumiano. Until say somebody will rise to the occasion and say, hey, I'm in charge of this country. And this is the direction that I want this country to go. And you are taking no prisoners. That is the only way. We need that kind of strong, determined, decisive leadership. That will say, this is what I want. This is the vision. I am driving everybody along. Either you stay or you drop. That is the only thing. And yes, this country will get nowhere. Some of these institutions, you see, Parliament, they will go there, they will joke, and they court to cross say. Executive, sometimes partisan business and as a forum. So maybe that's how we are Ghana Nina when you're linked to any political party. Which institution can you trust say they will do a deal open?
Now say it's a now and say a predicted court judgment.
Exactly.
I didn't be see that.
Exactly.
I said, well, to me, read as you away. Well, more quite we are no so and one on back.
And you see, you cannot blame them. And I've told you that you see, your constitution, you know, several portions of it out live in the essence and usefulness regarding where we are today. And there are a lot of ambiguity in our constitution. And those gray areas give judges discretionary powers to decide. And unfortunately, we have judges, some who are so corrupt to the extent say, I don't know, they are there doing partisan business. So to take away that excessive discretionary power from judges, you look at the constitution, you review and give clarity to some of the clauses. For instance, the say we are Ghana the now your friends say American passport with me MP yes, Obina Tana say allegiance and citizenship or equity through Supreme Court ruling. Because allegiance is different from being your friends say obi only allegiance to a country, different from being a citizen. Because Akufo-Addo na ban ni nkrofo abraba mbeboye. Do you believe that they own allegiance to this country?
That's what we are because America.
So you cannot equate allegiance to citizenship. Allegiance and kasa abraba boni ni say nkrase se mbe no kroma ti at this country ma o man abofom no enkomo nye. So you can't say allegiance is equal to it, but because the law I agree on those areas, somebody gave that interpretation, and we are here today. And again, as we speak, say Obi ko Parliament and I know na me catch it. He found a journey officially a beginning from. As then when Nipa na converting, I want the party. And now I confer ECG, yes, electoral commission forms our failure, and now yato about man we. Now you declare no, and now say you say yes when in, and he found a start free. That is the problem. I had dealing judge question. As we there's no clarity in our law, so that particular thing will give judges power to put their interpretation there. And but you can't challenge them because the law is at the bosom of the judge. So I know that they want because the ambiguity in the constitution is so clear. So we need to look at some of these things and redefine them. So that who read on the surface of it, you see, say these are clear terms, or be interpreted, then you can come in and say here and as I say, but there be one problem. Yabakwaba. Jachi kwesi issue no ba won say obi a drop citizenship allegiance. Once obi aka yako parliament ahwan. Yaba chance next year be sian ba biem then na radio so are busy. We are not serious people.
Star 413 option 4. Cash flow and I no pay unsa ebetimi akasika pa honorable so JCB kaswa or 16 years. Okay, we'll respond to obi message. Conscious agbenu awosu or say Ivan Kyei innocent, I trust you, more fire. Okay, Fatima answer. That is Ghana for you, bro. No say star 413 hash bonus no. Yadia, ubetimi edo ho ahyemu na 6 March de ende me ankasa mayere me ho a me twa ne den nti eno no nyame ya adom a kina mema process ni nyina na wonso watimi ase wo grofo ani abre gova e wa de papa sigade uti binka na watumrika na wakwa akope bi very important me concentration mu achemienu because me twa cash flow e wo me phone no so nti na maye to engage no me pacho we nyina ye hia sika ni bi ye ko weekend say ya na ye deja nti me pacho yero ho na fa wo number eto system no so e ma me e beboa ye papa na won so watimi enya wo chefa star 413 hash option 4 no cash flow anope enche me ba be road draw no e the amount na also what me win big na say enwa eno no say you know that one follow te wo for nkomo na wo mudi no wo mo say wo vehicle maintenance allowance aban say wo drop it there na omu nkwa adwuma.
Yeah, I think Ghana na no Bakato say a serious country. We are not serious. So sometimes people tend to take certain decisions out in chance. Now, what is happening? Nancy President Mahama appoint you to GES. and for one of the institutions, and for that water.
Closac.
Yes.
Deaf and deaf.
Good. Yeah, workers. You see, so we are Ghana, now we are Jumainia. I cannot take away your right to protest because even the constitution, make it quite clear. So when you're comfortable with your working conditions, everything, you have every right to protest in the way of ensuring, say, government a baby amount. And in that protestation, there are procedures, there are options, alternatives that you can employ. One has to do with negotiation, then as a forum such discussions. But you see, to withdraw services, because allowances are not ideal incentive for your demand because of a Juma. A bonus because of extra stuff that you do. So because of that, withdrawing services because of those extra way, does not make sense when your base pay is for the job that you do on daily basis. But you see, and I'm saying over the years, we are not critical people. We don't look into some of these things. But I'm entitled to car maintenance allowance. But you are not being paid because of car maintenance allowance. You are being paid because of your base salary. So base salary now will argue you can withdraw services and talk to government. Exactly. But the allowance, you based on negotiations, we don't withdraw services. I don't know if you get a point that I'm making.
I understand that because allowance in there yes. But what catch you nankasa there no
so you can't withdraw when you don't have any issue with your destiny.
Your salary.
But you have. I'm not saying you cannot. Your friends say negotiate and not protest. You can still protest, but you don't withdraw service. There are several ways you can engage government just to ensure, say, or making sure that those incentives are available to you. I don't know reasons why government would decide to take such initiative away, but some of these things has to do with proper negotiations, discussions, and I'm not sure that government will just wake up and say, I'm taking them away. There could be reasons. So whatever it is, you have your friends saying the power to engage, discuss, and have some of these things. Now, anything will be outside my withdrawal services, there are no consequences. Donald Trump government even my withdrawal services. Yes, exactly. And Ghana is the same thing. There are a lot of people sitting home. So if we decide that our approach is to hold government hostage, you are forced. A time will come, a group of people will go and sit home and people will go and take their position. Maybe a president, that is some of the options that I will consider. Because you cannot hold me hostage. Trust me, I am the man in charge, making sure that I drive the larger vision of the people of this country and to ensure that we achieve what we want to achieve. Look at where Ghana is today. Economically, we are not doing well. Things are ayabasa. So you need to drive cautiously just to ensure, say, you fix things as you go. But at the early stages of government and people decide, because of car maintenance allowance, because of this allowance, when your base pay is being paid, you don't have any issue. Recently, we had this 10% increment, which a lot of people have concern about. And so, the economy, you expect government to give 50%. People are even lucky that at these early stages, President Mahama has been able to give 10%. Economy now, maybe you don't understand. I wish you could project Ghana economy for people to see the state of Ghana's economy. And trust me, maybe in 10% you can overdrop it. Yes. So I think that these are some of the things that we need to do. But just draw back and they are legitimate cause, they are legitimate concerns. Every Ghanaian who are dissatisfied with the working conditions, because some of these monies, one way or the other, are also back in their way. But you have to withdraw services. That is not the way to go, because your base salary, there is no problem. These allowances, you can still be at the job place. Now we're negotiating with government. There are several ways I'll be to get government attention just to ensure that. But always withdrawing services. At the end of the day, the impact will go on all of us. And then impact feel it. But what about other sensitive institutions that when they withdraw services, it affects OBR? Just imagine say you have certain nurses and the doctors say Yanso no your car allowance and as if for hospital will be anyhow. Do you know what will happen in this country? So when it happened in some of these areas, a man for our dream, but go to the other side and will be a fully impacted. That's how hypocrite is the reason why I am adopting this approach in dealing with this matter. So that across boards, the benchmark will be the same thing. Stay, negotiate, and make sure say you get better conditions. But here you will draw a service. Just imagine doctors and nurses decide to go the same way. Can we survive in this country? And going forward, I think the government must also come in just to ensure, say, emolument regime, is so skewed to the stand, say, a benefiting majority of people and other people suffer. For instance, now, Mamia or SICCOE, or the on kasa de ne earnings betu be ya utu wani na wo something one person is enjoying as a CEO of SIC. Na obi a ono so medical doctor wa bra ba ya doctor at the hospital baby. Na at the end of the month ono 12,000 onya as a salary. Obinya 10,000 as a salary, obinya 13,000. Na obi because or your CEO at a particular way allowance onya no kwa so chan or salary as a doctor.
Yeah.
I would treat life as a nurse. I know that we are humans. People begin to do comparison as a form, and I know that the motivation, the intrinsic motivation, for you, they will not do it. So I think we need to target our emolument structure. Now you're making sure, say, the obia deserve no nsabeka. Now kwase ya packet at the end, then nyina kogu baby. See will be. Your friend saying
because sometimes say I don't understand. Says you will be nana cut you as the same president.
Exactly.
Does it even make sense?
Yeah. Me say CEO no crowd. These state-owned enterprises, go there and check. None of them and they make a profit. These are debt, your friends saying, driven in your friends institutions. None of them and they state-owned enterprise quite recently. You saw the report. Over 2.2 billion your friends saying Ghana cedis eka and over in this country. For the past 4 to 5 years, now you're over 10.2 billion. So institutions and agencies that are supposed to make profits, they are running debt, but they are the very people who are best paid in this country. Who at the same Bank of Ghana, or not to meet now when you are over 60 billion. Now or take fast salary allowance will see a man who cry over 50,000 a month and then as a form. So I know the day
or being fear do a catchia.
Exactly.
No, I just back.
And what we don't value in this country is services being rendered by people I am value of no nina count them on mine no police in here you have been saying here but police for you now will draw from the system. Do you know what will happen in this country? Look at teachers, look at nurses, obia who here, and we need to structure the emolument distance as a nipa the base salary now. They will not complain about car allowance and as a for them to withdraw their services. It's just there is a fundamental problem. Or to know Article 71 holders, Bafu, Yamane gardener, Yamane security, Yamane cook, Yamane driver, Yamane Yafan saying bet allowance, hook allowance, all those nonsense of allowance, entertainment allowance, or 2 kanya per diem. Then as for we pay in dollars for them. So one person at the end of the day is going home a month with over 1 million Ghana cedis. The same teacher near okra similar qualification wa go to amount for Lego wakobi. Amount for UCC wakobi. Wa go through a biako okra first class and other classroom or the chira there. But because the choice is on this side of the culture, the salary. Yeah. Na yere ne ma da be teacher ni bi a minim no. Odina katua nyina agemo. Sa mo na mo be free o mo na na se for no. Yeah. But so me so our salary aka nuru 600 Ghana cedis. E bi American say wa wo bebre ne ma be 6. Wo be da hwe mo. I think there is a fundamental challenge. President will have to set up a committee. The emolument structure of this country will have to be looked at.
Now, that tripartite committee, can't they do Sanyama way my
yeah, okay, committee. I want the committee no more tea and moon and Casamo. What they are gaining is what and no, this is Ghana for you. Committee na yateno or not tenacia. Go and look at allowances and the benefits they are asking for. Until it ends there. It ends where their interest ends. When I call negotiating for mine, I said we are making it's a fundamental problem. We need to look at overhaul this emolument structure and say qualification. It doesn't matter where you are. If you go to America, there are people or juma or even filling station or any better than somebody in government.
Yeah.
There are people ne dey so push your friend saying almost sabola. The earnings esuchen will be all year juma somewhere in the government. It is about what you do. Because we don't value other services. Within services, and I say honorable take care now. What about radio station? Now upon no be a dinner. Honorable. It's all that life is about. Yeah, born now. No, 100 Ghana. No, charge when you pay. That is honorable for you. But services are way be all render. No, such a what the honorable is rendering.
Yeah.
Because look at somebody or engineer in America. Obi or a medical doctor in America in a hospital. The people he's serving. How many politicians and a year do? So you need to pay such people well, so that the say honorable no ban no. Because baby he's earning well. So teacher in our Ghana they are earning well. Doesn't matter where you post that person. About people will stay. Now you know obviously. Jena Fato BBD, that kind of stuff. Debiana Yere Gunusu dinner Temsa Mobra, but he's working for government. Nemagunusu they can't attend good schools in as a forum, but Oya Jumama buying. What will be the motivation? Or quite Juman 1 week, or quite 3 days, no way. So there is a fundamental problem. I am expecting President Mahama says a Nema way Chema on sit down. Now you shed a monument structure across board. Now you review. Now you're making sure that the base salary of every single Ghanaian, is something, worthy. Some people will know, is it allowance? I cannot blame people who drain services because of salary. Now your salary,
allowance,
exactly. Salary, so allowance in the idea, I get them going. But we live in a country of about 33 million Ghanaians. Yeah, people who work for government are less than 800,000. But omo government appointees can't say we no sika omoje eso change the entire people. I just say we are sick as a country. Abaye politics and abaye nice avenue people are making money. So I think we need to sit down and think. You see, Ghana at this point we need thinkers. People will be able to diagnose the challenges, the problems, and for fair solutions about address it. And then commitment to do is another thing. That is the only way. Ever say, in Kaban society, Obi has a president in the question, baby. But that is the only way you can make money. But I don't know, Obi a teacher, Obi a nurse, Obi a doctor. He will not be waiting for government appointment. Because Obi wa America now or a nurse or work here hourly, or earning the big money. And monthly, he's doing well. They don't even waste their time talking about politics. You only hear politics when they are going to the next election. But Kroba Enam Ohiane, Adrian, from day one to the next to election day, there be a politics. Because that is the only way a man for we eat. About radio, so no, become honorable, no affair, honorable, and then become now I send you 200 a man, honorable, become a serial caller, as all count number, some or recorded, no Sunday man. And you see, these people, you can't blame them. There is no job opportunity. The people who are supposed to create the incentive will not create. They want to own everything so that we become slaves. That was the last time I was telling you, say, politics, leadership in our part of the world, poverty, a tool, a deliberate political tool, impoverish the people, enslave them so that always and always they see you when you come to their aid as their God. That is the politics that is happening. And the Oko constituency are not pa, MP no baho no munyate sa waba. The whole constituency jitri ne akogina na ponano. Honorable me ware this weekend o me ye adoring. Honorable me na nawu. And we MP na constituency within a weekend we di ho agrabeto fundaka be 40. Because obi ni nipa wu di the constituency no obi about well, you are the only person they look up to. Also we need sasika, what do you have to do? Esa won so we try cut corners to get something. Obi a okoye wedding about honorable. Now we need sika okoye wedding. But omu nyina beba ho. Me yera honorable, me yera wo, honorable me ba school fees. But that is the culture we have created. Creating an impression say we rap politics in my avenue, we are rich. And all the emoluments near channel to you, but you are spread it across border. Obi oye teacher ni, why would the person go to honorable for? Your friend is saying for sika. So or the kutia ne ba medical bills na se for them. We need to restructure the emolument way no. Sabaya wherever we are finding a hono. Life will be comfortable so that you may not have to depend on Obi. This life of dependency, this slavery kind of way, emolument structure, and no can Obi no be and President Mahama will have to look at it and make sure say you review the emolument structure say be even across board depending on aduma wo ye not where you are. It should be what you do. So it's possible say obi a onam kroma also zoom lion baller no obe any better than obi or bank. It should be possible because hard work pays. Elsewhere in America, hard work pay.
Oh, I had a hard work be and pay. People you work smart.
Yes, and now no, Madam for be frame also ye broni be adwuma no mo kwa. Omo ye ya jeje obi a phones and they'll make sure say 5 hours na wo ya you work 5 hours. Kroma obi kwa adwuma ko report no nam afa no kwasra na girlfriend. People don't work. So I know the day hours na the year adwuma no. What is the productive output? When I quantify upon all the economic discussions across Kroma, what is obi data be able to anim say Ghana for your adwuma 1 hour, this is our productive output. What to be that? People they don't even go to work. You go to work play, people are not there. But ukwa abuchira na yaka say warehouse na wo ya. Say boxes na wo peja. Wo page 1 hour na wo peja boxes 50 minutes. Non stop. And sana maybe you go break oba be year you are working. But that thing is not there. Clock in, clock out. In government institution, there should be a system that clock in, clock out is there. So that Nipano every day we are able to monitor. So I know the day controller and accountant general will get the data to be able to assess Nipano 28 days, this number of days, you are entitled to your full salary. One car. There should be a way. You see? So as a smart government, and I make us say, you see, or you're smart or you're smarter as government. Okay. So in a day, you make sure they clock in every 2 hours. Oh, Master, we are smarter. You should be smarter. Every 2 hours you clock in.
And I want to have my baby.
Exactly. Obisun clocking movie. You force people to be at work. And I think some of these things.
Government institutions, you have a corner to a man credit you.
Yes.
But no chin any. Who be some crown, where she and you crown.
Na adia san ya na nsam me call baby say me kota de nipa na o te kanta no ejina TikTok na tesa asa wo bona so ma for work time na no hwe TikTok na ya bia sound de asama wo kan kra government institution working time ya jina TikTok hwe ma mo sa that kind of nonsense. The culture is so sick. I think
social media and I'm a boy and crowd. You did some Yansha
Nankama, that's our issue. Is not YouTube video be at them. Or bar pen, you know, sorry, the secret camera. No, dear,
and also the achievements. I don't know. Yansha, your last topic enough. Yenny Hearts Builders and met to us. So, may I sure they say Boko, Yenny Mara. Asem no ka na asem hwanyan enti bibi ketwa bi ekwa keka ne ho pe na asan aginsemu yese enkura yi a wo mo ewo senior high school yi ye ka ne sen Boko Technical Institute na afi senior high school ba ko ewo wo mo ye peace ceremonial
okay
adane tokwa ama wo ma ko abro mo ho sai niema oh god. Yeah,
I think that Boku issue, gradually get it out of hands, and I think that there should be a serious approach. You see, over the years, that mediation, reconciliation, that kind of way, it doesn't seem working. I don't know what the fundamental problem is, but whichever way you see it, it's tribal. There is this ethnocentric dynamics, and when people get peeved based on tribal sentiment and so forth. Now, deep-seated and deep-rooted. It's very difficult to do away with it. That is why I think we need to look at the problem and devise means of. There are concerns on your friends that we are man for accuse some individuals of sister two from Accra to some individual fueling the conflict and so forth. I think the government must come up with a definitive approach. I bet me what decisively to do with some of these things. You see, issue na bana individuals are among victims. There are people, the perpetrators. How do we even deal with them? We cannot just say it's just war, conflict, so you commit atrocities and get away with it. When we get people involved in some of these things, the punishment should be so severe and so consequential to the extent that nothing will motivate you to do some of these things. But Boko conflict is starting. I ne ya kwache kai ya twaja atum ya hye amanfo ye kunwe no the corporate no
one from who
one who says severe punishment to be a baby. So there is enough motivation for people to do guns that people where they got it from you don't even know. Na nipa na sometimes you do search and you're able to identify people owning guns in as a forum and we've been able to question them how we need that particular gun because to get a gun it might come from somewhere because baby we free you know there should be a paper trail. We should be able to identify some of these things. So I think government will have to, and then I am for no more honor or we are behind some of these things. You know? Then we also speak to them because the communities these things are happening. Yeah, the economic deprivation there no is so astonishing. Yeah. So nipa not in so crop and no nibi, but offenses obeying access to gun to go and kill Ninuya. Because of chieftaincy, because of whatever reasons. And this thing has been dragging for far too long. I'm free said, whatever the problem is, there must be a decisive action from government just to ensure say, we end this nonsense once and for all. Okay. Because at the end of the day, the amount of money our state spending, sending troops, soldiers, can equally give life to young people. Go to Okohu among Krano, among Mututo to Okono, Kwanakosha Omamba, life or Omulivo. And these are some of these young people who have a lot of talent, opportunity, potential, but because the elderly are blinded with some of this tribal nonsense in Intino, they don't even see the potential in their own kid, and they need for them to stop this nonsense and make sure say Sikano will be invested in their kid, because some of these atrocities being unleashed on themselves, you know, they are passing it down to their kids. They will come and continue because ne papa chance and the enemy ne papa na onanam hono, they will grow to hate them. You understand? So I think that this nonsense, government is also working to ensure that they stop. No, the people out there, nankasa tama say omuhu nyansa hu say baby atama do no sa tribal nonsense we mfa nko baby a development any here. If you don't want development for yourself, fight it for your own people, your kids, because your children deserve better. You need to put them in good schools and make sure say they don't grow up in such a toxic environment because they will become what you are. Your kids will become what you are and what you're doing. So this whole thing will continue in their entire life. You know, they will grow hating one another, and other people elsewhere are growing in an environment where they are being exposed to AI, computers, and as for them. And at time you see, so you become useless in the world environment because a man for growing up. You know, these are some of the things your parents got you exposed to. Papa for no government has a responsibility to ensure that this nonsense stop, but the ultimate responsibility rests on the chiefs. And somebody needs to look to them in the face and tell them this ugly truth. And yet there be a government in Sunday truth. The ultimate responsibility rests on the chiefs. I don't know, it's a diamond or whatever. For what reasons? I think we need to speak in plain languages to the chiefs, both sides. No one who say what they are doing is absolute nonsense. There is no space for such things in this modern society. What here we are thinking Internet of Things. We are thinking progression. We are thinking about your friends say how